again, everybody. It's Maria from Wandering River Tarot with a bonus reading for the week. This is kind of a divine feminine, divine masculine twin flame situation. I was called to do it, as so many are. Hang on, let's see if we can get a better angle here. I feel like the love reading was a little bit all over the place. We're gonna blame low blood sugar, go with that. I was easily distracted, and the messages, they were muddied. They really were, because there's a lot going on. People are ascending, people are going through awakenings, people are looking for messages, and so messages come through really quickly, and if I'm not like on the ball, they get muddied. So I feel like this morning's reading was a little bit of a suck fest. So here's a bonus reading. I've eaten and low blood sugar is no longer an issue. Thank you. So I have on this side, which is my left, the divine feminine and their energy. And on my right side, the divine masculine and their energy. Everything's all dealt out, so you don't have to watch shuffling or any of that crap. So let's just get into it, shall we? I feel like the camera's a little crooked, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so the divine masculine and the energy that they're in right now, I feel like they're gaining some clarity, right? They're doing some internal work. They are, they're learning about themselves in that they're realizing that some of their wounding is coming up to affect them, that the way that they have behaved towards you, especially if you're the divine feminine, is maybe not the greatest, but they didn't know what to do about it. They didn't know why they were acting that way. They just knew that they were. So now they're kind of getting clarity around the whys and all of that and what's triggering them. The secret. I feel like a lot of them, man, they want to reach out, but they're not going to. And so to the divine feminine, it's a secret. Clearly you can't see that thought process going on, but look, like she's deep in contemplation on the front of this card. I assume it looks like a female face, but we're talking masculine. So I feel like there's a lot of deep contemplation about wanting to reach out and say, hey, but they know that, like, they feel so unworthy of the feminine. And in their broken state, when they're doing shitty things, kind of they are, you know what I mean? So we have the chess queen, which is about strategizing, about thinking things through. So they're kind of in that process of, do I do it? Do I not? Do I talk to them? Do I not? And they're kind of doing that little inner dance that you do. So I do feel like, first let me do this. So we've got, this is the card of healing, of being nurtured. I feel like they are taking care of themselves a little bit better, emotionally speaking. I also feel like they're getting closer to getting their polarities evened out, if that makes sense. Like the masculine and feminine are coming into balance a little bit within them. And that's going to allow them to clean up their act, so to speak, and behave a little bit better because they'll have greater understanding, right? They will have integrated a lot of their feminine aspects. They will have integrated their masculine aspects to the point where that's not like controlling their entire life. Like they see that there's value in the feminine side, and they're going to come a little bit back to balance, I feel like. So on with the hawk here that I just showed you. Signs and omens. And messages, excuse me. I feel like the masculine's higher self is sending the feminine's higher self, or lower self, I guess. They're sending messages. They're sending omens, and specifically hawks. So if you see hawks, take it as a sign. I feel like they're trying to communicate, and, you know, through 5D means, they're kind of trying to communicate down to the 3D to you, because they're not ready to reach out and touch someone, you know, by picking up the phone or sending a text or whatever. So they're communicating, you know, higher self to higher self that way, through messages and signs, specifically hawks. So look for those. If you're the feminine, look for those to be coming. I have here the Justice card, which is part of why I feel like I keep bumping the table. Earthquake! I feel like they're coming back into balance. She looks like she's got her shit together, doesn't she? I wish I was her. So excuse me, the masculine here is I'm trying as hard as I can not to be a hot mess again, but clearly today is not my day. So yeah, they're coming back into balance. They're making some good decisions about who to keep in their lives, who to not keep in their lives. I feel like there was the typical third party situation that you always hear about in a twin flame reading. I feel like they're sorting out some of those karmic things, and they are planning a future instead with, the one they're supposed to be with their, either their twin or a suitable soulmate. I'm seeing here, because my belief is you don't necessarily end up with your twin, right? The whole point of having your twin come into your life in the 3D is to trigger awakening in both of you, raise your vibe, raise the vibration of humanity, that sort of thing. It's a divine calling, and it's a real fun time. No, it's not. So I don't necessarily think that twins end up together in this incarnation. Of course, you will be together on the other side in the 5D, that sort of thing. Like, you're never separated, but I don't know that you necessarily end up together in this incarnation. My twin flame is an idiot. So there's that. He refuses to get in touch with his spiritual side, refuses to ascend, refuses to heal. So he can continue to be an idiot. It's not my problem. I don't need him. I don't need him in my life. I know who he is. I know where he is. Whatever. That's all I need. So you don't use me as living proof of, any way to be, but the whole point is not union. Union is great. If you end up in union and things work out, beautiful. Please write me a letter and tell me all about it. I want to hear your story, and I'm not joking. But sometimes it's just not meant to be, man. Sometimes, because you have free will, sometimes one or both of you refuses to do the healing work, and you just don't end up together, and that's just how it is. I feel like they are planning for the future. They're looking ahead. They're not necessarily just stuck in, oh, woe is me land. Like, I feel like they were for a really long time, a lot of them. I feel like they're kind of pulling out of that energy. They're ready to move forward. They're ready to plan. They're still in hanged man mode, though. They're not ready to pull the trigger on contacting you. Like I said, they're weighing options. They're gaining enlightenment. They're doing some of the work, they're getting closer and closer and closer to being ready to try to make union work. So we also have the Strength card on the masculine side. Strength is, taming the beast within. So all those, broken pieces and pains and hurts, they're trying to, make friends with their demons deep inside. They are trying to heal some of those things, whenever, the bullshit, I would say, inside kind of rears its ugly head. That's when they run, because they're triggered by something that you do or say. And so I keep addressing you as the divine feminine. I'm assuming that most of the people watching are divine feminine, which I shouldn't. But the masculines are, they're working with their demons rather than letting them eat them alive. Like I said, I think they were in the past, in the recent past. I feel like they were kind of letting their demons run them, but now they are running their demons. And through that, we have the Sun card on their side. Excuse me. I feel like this is not necessarily a card of, oh my God, everything's so happy. It's, things are better, things are looking up, things are going in the right direction, things are looking, better. It also is enlightenment. I mean, the sun is the light, right? It's shining into those dark places, casting light upon them, and thereby giving understanding and, enlightenment, right? So I feel like there's illumination happening deep within those dark places, and they're making friends with their demons instead of just running away from them, and you're the divine feminine, as it were. So that's what I've got for the masculine side. Let me move this out the way so that I can concentrate fully. So for the divine feminine, what have we? So we've got the resting tree, patience and stillness. I feel like a lot of the feminines are going deep, deep, deep within, doing some real deep healing work, like past life ingrained, you know, childhood trauma stuff, like the heavy lifting. And I feel like that is kind of, that cycle is kind of coming to an end, you know. It's so the resting phase is kind of over, right? It's winding up. You're coming out of your shell a little bit. You've done all of the rediscovery, and this card has come up a couple times today. I feel like this little lady here is, you know, the divine feminine inside of this person, this girl, right? So you're rediscovering the fact that you are a goddess. You are divine. You, like, legitimately divine. Like, that's not just a title. You are the divine feminine, bitch. And you're realizing your worth and your place in the universe. And so that is like bringing you a little bit out of the inner work, so you can come out a little bit into the light. So we have this card. It's called the Ancient Elder Experience Lessons. So she's so cute with her little owl. She's a little wise little thing. I feel like you are in touch with a lineage of feminine, in this lifetime, possibly, or also in the 5D. You could be getting in touch with ancestors. You could be doing some work to get in touch with, you know, all of the females of your line, or all of the females in your religious tribe, whatever that is. If you're, you know, if you're Wiccan, perhaps you're doing the work to get in touch energetically with your Wiccan sisters all the way back. Which is a good thing, because it's giving you wisdom, like deep wisdom, right? Like, it's not just surface shit that you're learning. Like, this is crone wisdom, right? And so you're going to be better off for that, honestly. It's going to bring you to a place of like such great enlightenment, and you're going to understand people and be able to help them heal in ways that you never thought possible. So I also have here the Merlin, Alchemy, Justice, and Balance. So again, this is the same sort of energy, but I feel like this is the masculine side of it. So you're bringing together the masculine super deep wisdom and the feminine super deep wisdom into yourself in a good balance. I really do feel that way. And we've got this card here of juggling, which is like, I feel like this is emotional juggling, clearly. Like, plus you've got all of these emotions coming up, and you're being ripped asunder by the universe in order to gain enlightenment. Like, cracked wide open is not a fun thing to do while you're also trying to go to work and pay the bills and take care of the kids and make sure the dog's fed, right? So this juggling, you know, that horrid like feeling that you're kind of sinking is going away also, I feel, through finally being able to gain this wisdom and integrate these energies within you. It's not going to be so hectic and crazy in your emotions and in your sort of spiritual space, right? Things are gonna kind of mellow out a little bit, and that like juggling 5D and 3D and all the feelings that go with it is going to abate a bit. So these sleepless nights that you've got here, they're gonna go away. The anxiety is gonna come to a head, and then it's gonna come back down. Like, it's gonna hit a point where suddenly the light switch goes on through your wisdom gaining and your integration of these two energies, and suddenly it's gonna suddenly be like you can take a freaking breath again. I see here the Devil. We do have the Devil card. And this is a warning a little bit for the Devil card is normally like the things that we use to distract ourselves from awakening, right? Or from healing. So it's the sex, drugs, rock and roll, that kind of thing. It's playing video games and ignoring the fact that you're about to have an emotional breakdown, or it's sleeping around because that's the only thing that distracts you from the fact that you're about to have an emotional breakdown, or that you know that there's stuff that you should be working on and you're just not. So I am going to go out and have a couple drinks instead, you know, that sort of thing. It's escapist energy. But also, a lot of times, the feminine especially can feel like they are bound to the masculine, and if they aren't with the masculine, the divine masculine, their twin, then what's it all for? Why bother? Well, that's not the point. The point is not to be with your masculine. The point is to be awakened by your masculine. To be thrown into that tailspin of spiritual awakening is so wonderful. What a gift. It is, though, when you get down the road. But I feel like as feminines, we feel tied and bound. Like that's all there is. And if I can't have that person, that masculine, then I don't want anyone. And get out of that thinking, because you can have a perfectly good life with a soulmate, still work on your awakening. I mean, it's once it's started, it's started. Like you can't not awaken once you start. So I mean, you can make the process take longer. You can drag your feet a little bit, but the universe will drag you kicking and screaming through your awakening process, whether you like it or not. So you might as well just make it easy and walk instead of be dragged, you know? So I feel like, let go of that attachment a little bit. I mean, you can't ever completely separate yourself. Like you are bound by energy. Like you are, whether you cut cords or whatever, you're still connected by that energy. You can say c'est la vie and, you know, never speak to them in the 3D again, never think about them again, but you're still connected. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can just ignore that. You can stop them from feeding off your energy, as it were, because they, you know, through a cord like that, they can't, my cat's going wild. Through a cord like that, they can. You can see him in the background. There's Tarot Cat, number 1. How are you doing, my love? Settle in. Where was I? You need to not stay attached to your divine masculine, because I mean, you can cut the cord to the point where they're not sucking your energy, where they're not feeding off of you, but you still can share love through that cord. As weird as that sounds, when you're like, it's someone that you're so mad at in the 3D that you can't stand looking at because you just want to punch them in the throat, right? I mean, but you can still send them love, because it's all about unconditional love. Yeah, that's what the whole journey is about. Getting to the place of unconditional love for everybody. And you can have unconditional love for your masculine, even though you want to punch him in the dick. You can. So universal Christ consciousness here is kind of where the feminine is settling into. It's that, for me, I think it's that, you know, oneness with the universe. It's realizing that you're part of the matrix. You know, everything that you are and everything that you will be is connected to everything that is and ever was, you know? It's, I think that the feminine is sinking into the realization that we are one. Every rock and person and butterfly and tree we're all one. So what you do affects the whole in, you know, that sort of butterfly effect kind of thing. And the fact that it's better to have like this universal love for everyone and everything, this unconditional, undying love, because the universe is made of love. I feel like, personally, I think energy is made of love. Like, and the entire universe runs on energy. Excuse me. Enough pontificating. I can't even talk. Okay, so the feminine is also getting here the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is a messenger. All pages are messengers. The Page of Swords is a messenger of thoughts or ideas. So I feel like the feminine is kind of embarking on a new journey thought-wise into new things. With this awakening, with this integrating all of this wisdom that you suddenly have, you're getting new ideas of how to use that wisdom, of how to share that wisdom with the universe, of what to do with it. I feel like a lot of you are stepping into your healing shoes. I think a lot of you are doing a lot more, I mean, it could be volunteer work, just kind of help your fellow man type stuff. And I love that because, you know, again, with this universal Christ energy, right? We're all one, we're all love. We're all love. And the feminine is like really waking up to that fact and is now being able to sort of use it to help people on a small scale, which helps people on a grander scale, yeah? So then the last card for the Divine Feminine is the Ten of Coins. You are going to get to a place of not feeling so depleted emotionally, of like the astrology is even changing a little bit right now, where it's not quite so deep and dark and like Saturnian. I mean, there's Pluto and Saturn and all that stuff in Capricorn, but I feel like some of that stuff is giving us a firm foundation to deal with change, to start, you know, once things get torn down, we start building again, right? And I think we're kind of in the beginnings of the building phase, as opposed to like, oh my God, shit keeps getting torn down around me, like tower moment after tower moment. I feel like this is now the hard work. And not that having your entire life upended and torn apart isn't hard work, but now is the building work, the reconstruction kind of work. So that's what I have for the divine feminine, oh my God, divine feminine, divine masculine reading. This, like I said, this was a bonus reading because the love reading earlier was a hot mess. I mean, this one was a little bit of a hot mess, but you know, it's an off day. Like, I apparently should not try to communicate with humans today. I should just stick to cats. So I'm gonna go over here and hang out with this cat over here and watch a movie, and that's all I got. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you again soon. Please like, subscribe, and share if you got anything out of this reading, and if you didn't, my apologies, but I'll be back next week, hopefully to wow you. Take care and have a good week.